Hey guys, Andy and Spoken Label back in the house on a Sunday evening. Okay, yeah, now sometimes people know me as Spoken Label. I go to all ends of the earth. Today, we're going next door because, as people might see on the video feed of this, we have Amanda Nicholson here with me. Now, who is Amanda Nicholson, you may ask? She is the wife. So now we're here today because, yes, because Amanda's got a few things she wants to talk to us about now. I would say hi, Amanda. How are you? But I was talking to you about 5 minutes ago when we were getting the computer set up in the different room, weren't we? So
Yeah, hello, a long time no see.
yeah. Now, obviously, like I said, it's quite fun actually. This because I look back. 'Cause obviously, Spoken Label's been going now since 2000, beginning of 2016. And when did we first meet, Amanda?
It was around that time, wasn't it?
It
I
was about
remember
that.
you told me you started a
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, no. And it always gets me is and shows you how times change, Amanda, with this is. When we did our first podcast, this was before we came a couple, wasn't it? And how did we do it?
Yeah,
We did it on Zoom, didn't we? Not Zoom,
yeah.
Skype.
No, it was, yeah, Skype. Yeah.
So it
We
just
used to
shows
cut
you.
out all the time.
Oh, yeah, it's atrocious. It was back in those days. We love Zoom more anyway. So now we're here today to talk for a reason today, Amanda. There's a new forthcoming project is available on pre-order. But before we get to that, we better give people, Amanda, a bit more update, really, hadn't we? Because your case would be since this is a major project for you. So you better tell people a little bit about your creativity, first of all, people that don't know you. Where did it all come from originally?
Okay, so I've always written since I was a child, but obviously it wasn't that great when I was about 4 or 5 and I was trying to rewrite fairy tales.
Mm.
And then eventually I just sort of stumbled into creative writing as a course, as part of my degree. And it went from there. And I self-published my first book in 2014.
Yeah, now it couldn't be fair to ask you, man, how many books have you done since then? But we probably we did a full review and everything. We'd be at about midnight, wouldn't we? So,
Yeah,
but yeah, no, seriously, the last novel you did, Paul, we could talk about today was Ghost of Me back in March 2020, wasn't it? So
yeah.
now, obviously, you better tell people what's been happening since Ghost of Me, because you have been keeping active, but not necessarily with novels, have you?
No, I got into copywriting in late 2019 and that kind of took over a bit. So I still wrote a bit because we co-run a spoken word night. So I always write things for that. And then we go to a few other nights occasionally as well.
Yeah.
But copywriting was the main thing I was focusing on.
Yeah, but better clarify to people. Obviously, we'll talk about Speakeasy there in Cholton, which we co-run with Steve Smythe. Now, obviously, you said you've done last time we had you on here 3 years ago. Well, that was when you did your 12 projects in 12 months' time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just cleared out everything that was in the folders.
Yeah, well, no, you didn't quite manage that 'cause I know there's some stuff in there still, isn't there? So, which you're going to come back to another day. But yeah, now last year. And there's a bit of a running joke with this, but we'll come on to this another day, was you started doing your first novel, didn't you, in 5 years, wasn't it? That been the case then. So
Yeah.
what's led you back to doing novels again?
Well, I thought I'd given up writing novels. With the whole copywriting thing, it's like at the end of the day when I'd finished work, it was just I didn't feel like doing any more writing, even though it was like my own writing.
Yeah,
And then last year with AI and everything, like my copywriting work dried up and one thing led to another and just partly as well just to distract myself. And as well, I'd had some articles published and some creative responses to them. And it inspired me to write this book because it's sort of on that theme. So it's inspired by like real life things that have happened to people, but in a fictional way with a bit of classic dark humor in.
it's what you term as people know where Amanda is. She comes from the Yorkshire area, Bradford. Is what he's I always call it a bit of Yorkshire grit. Is that a fair enough point, Amanda?
Yeah.
Now, you better tell people, obviously, first of all, then, what the book's called. 'Cause I've been very careful what I've said. If people have seen the video of this, there's a big clue, isn't there, Amanda?
Yeah, the killers behind it.
Now, what's the book called, man? It's not called The Killers,
It,
is it? Although
no,
knowing you,
that's
not
the next one.
impossibility, yeah. Yeah.
No, it's called Death to All Men.
Yeah, now, people might have guessed it. That Amanda has been reading the extracts of his book out at a few places, and it has drawn a bit of attention, hasn't it, Amanda?
Yeah, I've sold some advanced copies, and then I went to a night I'm not familiar with, and let's just say I scared some people.
Probably because in that case you read out one of the most violent scenes in the book. That's probably why. But yeah, anyway, now obviously we need to talk about first of all then. Tell us about where the idea came from, it's in more depth than Deaf to All Men.
Yeah, so I mentioned the articles that I had published. One was about when I got had a stalker and had to fake my own death. And the other one was about obviously before we were dating, before I even knew you, when I was on a dating site and met a
Hmm.
guy who turned out he had a girlfriend. And on both of those, the comments I got just blamed me as the woman, even though like it's like the man was cheating on his girlfriend and it was nothing to do with me.
Hmm.
It's like everyone always blames the woman. And I think we had a conversation with our friend Ruth as well, who told us some things, which I'm not going to repeat on here. But also, there's other women as well that I've come across on the internet, and they've told me things as well. And then obviously people that I don't know, but I've read news stories from, and it's always the same in the comments with the victim blaming all the time. So that led to me writing this book.
Now, title obviously is quite crucial in this book, but it wasn't originally going to be this title, was it?
I didn't have a title the first time I read an extract out at Speakeasy, and somebody asked me what the title was, and I was like, "Oh, actually, I haven't thought of one yet." And she said, "Oh, I'll think of one for you." And then, in the meantime, while I was waiting to hear back from them, I had two ideas for titles. One was sarcastically calling it "Not All Men," and the other was "Deaf to All Men." And I
No.
ran them by you, and you told me to go with "Deaf to All Men."
As they always, sometimes you say it's best to be provocative. As Eric Bischoff always says, controversy creates cash. So now there's quite big. He said, well, some of the most bloody books of yours I've ever read, Amanda, this, and that's going some distance as well. So, but yeah, now obviously I want to talk about each of the characters in turn, okay, to give people a feel for it. Now, first of all, the main character obviously is, I presume that's behind you, the image there is Cassie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, tell us about Cassie, first of all, her story.
So she starts off the book by explaining like why she set up this group that she wanted to vent about men, and one thing leads to another, and it goes wrong, and she gets caught up in killing bad men.
Yeah, now in Cassie's case, this was because she'd been in through a few bad relationships, hadn't she? I seem to recall.
Yeah, she'd had a bad relationship, and she's also I'm not going to do spoilers, but there's a lot of stuff in her past as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. She'd had issues in the past, to leave it at that one, yeah, straight away. But like I said, the book is not just about Cassie, because there's a number of other women that formed in this group. So, how much was this a challenge for you? Because you did the book through Cassie's eyes. You had to develop, didn't you, a number of central female characters in this. Because you look at like your last book, Ghost to Me, before that, that's primary through one person's eyes. You know, there's a couple of the
Yeah,
characters in the book. This is completely different, having to learn to tell the story in it for lots of other people. So, as well, so how much of a challenge did this prove in contrast to Ghost to Me?
it was a bit difficult in the first draft, but I do quite a lot of edits, so each time I was editing it, then I got to know the characters more and sort of develop them. So by the end of it, it's like I developed them as much as I could.
Now, we're going to go for each of the characters here, and you can tell us a little bit about them. The most controversial character, and that's giving no spoilers away, is Kate.
But yeah.
How did Kate develop from the beginning to what eventually happened with her in the book?
Yeah, because when I first introduced the characters, they just come across as a group of women that are just sick of men for whatever reason and they want to vent about men. And you later find out a bit more about them, and some people are not as they seem.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it there, truth be told you. That is definitely that. Like, there's some, there's a few levels in this book at the best of times sometimes. And yeah, I agree with that. Now, obviously, like I said, there's a number of other characters in this book. Tell us about Pauline next time.
Yeah, so she's the oldest because they're all in their sort of early to late 20s, and she's about 40 something, and she's probably had more life experience, so she's a bit sort of bitter.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it with her there, Jan. She's straight away with it. So, yeah, she's not a happy lady. I think that's a good way of putting it, isn't it? So, for that one. And then, like, you've got Eliza, Elena and Lisa as well, and
Elena,
Gemma.
yeah, yeah. Lisa is Kate's cousin, and they sort of grew up around each other, so they're quite close and more like sisters, which complicates things later. But I'm not going to spoil it because people have to read the book.
Spoilers. Yeah. Spoilers, definitely that. So, other than like I said, it's, and then obviously, besides all the women, unless I'm wrong, there's the only one major male character in this, isn't there? And this is Jack. Oh, sorry, Dylan. Right. Now, obviously, you better
Yeah,
correct us with Dylan, haven't you, first of all, then?
yeah. Oh, my poor Dylan.
Was it Jack? John gone, no, it's Jack in it, or was it Dylan?
Yeah, he resembles a smaller version of Jack Reacher from the TV series. But it's not that he's short or anything, it's just Jack Reacher's very tall. So
Well, it's,
it's more like a realistic version of him.
well, so he's 6'5" with 7'2" shoulders, then, basically.
Not quite.
No, but yeah, that's the only real, and I don't want to give too much away, like I said, is because the title gives a lot away here, but yeah, probably the most developed male character in the book. Should we leave it at that then, shall we?
Yeah, you'll have
Yeah,
to read the book to find out if he survives to the
I
end.
say nothing. So now, obviously, there's one more character in this book that plays, I think, quite a pivotal role, actually, is Emily, who's Cassie's best mate.
Yeah,
Now, why did you go the direction you did with Emily? Because it was like Emily's an interesting character in the book, really. So and there's no spoilers in this, I kept expecting to see Emily join the gang, actually, to be told you.
I think she would have done if Cassie had told her what they were doing, but I liked having just like one character that wasn't completely unhinged and killing everybody.
Apart from Paul Dillon, yeah, who gets dragged into it, whether he likes it or not. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nice. It's a good point of it. So, but about the structure of the book, then, like I said, because this is quite a differently paced book to what you've done before, isn't it? So, how
Yeah.
did your research go with this book?
It's really difficult researching this type of thing because you worry about what's going to show up in your Google search history.
Well, it makes you change to McDonald's or something, doesn't it? Or Burger, or in your case, KFC all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah,
If you want to say with cookies and stuff, yeah, if Amanda goes along with putting those on in the Google search, it would come with Facebook and ads next, won't it?
yeah. So sometimes you have to do the research in a roundabout way, and it's like you can't ask a question directly because it's gonna sort of show up as being a bit psycho, unless every so often you type into Google, "I am a writer."
Yeah, I think you have to with that sort of thing. Did I ever tell you the time when I did a course over at the co-op when I worked there years ago? I had to go and do a course on computer hacking, so they had to get me to go and do it through Google for various bits and pieces for work. The job I was trained
Yeah.
on, and my actual Google internet got locked down by IT at work because they were getting concerned about the stuff I was looking at.
Oops.
So yeah, it'd have been the same base effort Goofy had done gone a long time if you won it. Women that kill men in Google. You probably had the police knocking at doors, probably, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know. Like if I was Stephen King or somebody, I'd have the money, set aside to speak
Hmm.
to somebody in the police force and get all this professional advice about what would happen in this situation and stuff. But I'm not, and I don't know. So I just
Now,
kind of got to make it up and find a way to figure it out as I go along.
Yeah, if I remember correct with this book, you structured it somewhat different to what you've done before, didn't you? Did you, was it previously, your previous books, you never planned it as well? This is your most planned book to
Yeah,
date, isn't it?
yeah, I did have quite a lot of it planned. A few things change here and there as you're going along, and you think, oh, this will work better. But I found it helped me to write the book faster as well.
Yeah. Now, it's your longest book you've done to date as well, isn't it? Is it
Just
66,000
just
words?
about, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I get just over 60,000, so it's a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's fair enough, so. And how did this compare to the other books you've done before then? See, because you've got it done a bit quicker. You did it in what, 7 months, was it? I remember you telling me.
Yeah,
So did
and
it,
I also started writing a romance book in that time as well. So
we will come on to
if
that
I'd just
shortly.
been yeah, if I'd just been doing this one, it would have taken less time.
Yeah, and we'll come on to the romance book in a minute because I know
Yeah,
that's what's coming up next.
yeah.
But like I said to you, but it's, I always believe in when anything you write, it's a reaction to your last big project. My case, my second novel, obviously, Death's a big reaction to the first one. So how does this compare to Ghost of Me then? Because you've had a big gap, really, haven't you? Even though you've been doing other smaller projects.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different genre, but as well as like you said about the characters, there's like a lot of characters. Even though there's only one main character,
Hmm.
it wouldn't be the same without all the other ones.
Yeah, and do you think you've learned a lot about yourself as a writer doing this book, which is quite radically different to your last novel, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it distracted me from like everything that was going on and with work and lack of work and stuff, and it just sort of let me let out all my frustrations on the page and do things without breaking any laws and getting arrested.
Well, we've had 5 people to date now ask me, "Hi Andy, how's your marriage going?" After seeing the title of this book. Do you want to answer that for people, Amanda?
I think it's going all right. I mean, you keep looking at me like you're scared and you don't know what I'm going to do next.
Well, that's been like that way for 9 years now, personally. But yeah, it's things don't change. Yeah, but no, seriously, okay. Now, I'm not going to give anything away with the ending, but certainly the ending does have a big twist on it, I feel, the epilogue. Was that planned from the beginning?
As I got further into the book, it was a little bit planned, but I had a different idea for the ending. But the characters just sort of came alive, and I realised that's not going to be realistic if they do that. It's going to be going against that character.
They say sometimes, don't you, with characters, like characters don't misbehave, they don't do what you want them to do, and that's why endings and stuff in books change sometimes, don't they? So,
Yeah,
did you find that with this book? Did it change because the characters wouldn't behave?
it's not that they wouldn't be here. It's just that became more 3D like. And I just thought, if I do this to my character, it's completely going to destroy the character and just make them into a wet drip, and I can't do that.
Yeah, no, you've done an excellent book. It's probably my favourite novel of yours so far, this that I've read. Now, obviously, the book is available in pre-order now, Amanda, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Where can people, first of all, find it on pre-order?
So it's on Amazon. It's on all the usual places where you get ebooks. Hopefully, by the time this comes out, it'll also be on Waterstones on the website to pre-order.
Fingers crossed on that, definitely. So now, last couple of questions I want to ask you on this part of the podcast is, because this is the big question anyway. What's next? Because you have been very, very busy.
Yeah, I've got a romance book which I'm going to bring out under a pen name just because I want to separate it from this genre. And I don't want someone seeing I've got a book out, buying it, and then being disappointed because there's no men that get killed in it.
Yeah, of course. Now, have you got a pen name for this new romance book yet?
Yeah, Alicia Nichols.
Oh, I like that. I like that. No, I'm not saying why, but I do like that. Right. Yeah, and so that's going to be out Christmas time. I don't think you've titled it yet, have you?
I have, yeah, it's called Beneath the Manchester Lights.
Ah, yeah, I know what the book's about. So is there anything you want to reveal about this book?
Um, I it was rejected by Mills and Boo.
No comment, right? Yeah, I know you've told me already. It's a second one of these what these romance books called Second Chances or what, wasn't it?
Second chance romance, yeah.
Second Chance Romance. Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I know a draft of it's certainly complete, isn't it? So that'll be out, you reckon, for Christmas time, don't you? So
Yeah. I'm in the editing stage now. I'm gonna send it out to a couple of places and then if I don't get anything from that, then it's getting released in time for Christmas.
now that's not the only book you've got on the go at the moment, is it?
No, I have a second book in this sort of tone of voice where
Yeah.
women kill bad men.
Yes. Now, what can you reveal about this
I can't give much away, but I can give the title, which is going to be called Killing Tommy.
poor Tommy? Poor Tommy. Now, I've
Oh, he's not poor Tommy.
it will be time you
He's a
finish
very
him.
naughty boy.
You always let that Monty Python voice. He's a very naughty boy. Well, so let's see what everyone thinks about his poor Tommy after this. Yeah, I know exactly what's going on in this book. Now, it's like the
Yeah,
Christmas one. The Christmas book you've done a draft on that, and you've done a draft or two in this as well, haven't you?
yeah.
And that's
So I'll have that edited in a couple of months, and then it'll be the same again. Just try and send it out. And if everybody turns around and says get stuffed or backs away looking frightened,
yeah.
then
And I
it'll
said,
come out through my imprint printed words.
yeah, that I said, that could well be next year, couldn't it? And I know you've got at least another romance book in mind, haven't you, as well? And you've
Yeah,
got another of your men getting killed book series, haven't you? So,
yeah, I've got the idea for that, so it's too soon to discuss what that's about yet, because I've basically just got like a big long paragraph and that's it.
well, I said to you, I said it's like there's plenty of time on it there straight away. So good luck with Manta straight away with it. So, okay, guys, girls, well, that's all my questions on this part of the podcast. Hang around because we should be back in two shakes of the dice. And you might see me shivering a lot in the second part when Amanda starts reading extracts out. And it might be one where this poor man, first poor man in Deaf to All Men, gets executed quite horrifically. And as me, if you see me turning white, why is that, Amanda?
Because she forgot to put the heating on and you called.
No comment. Right. So, right, people, we will see you all in two shakes of the dice.